And how's everyone doing today? Hopefully everyone is excited for this Monday. We have a lot of things we're going to talk about. Not only is Bitcoin back at a local high, but I'm also headed to hit almost immediately after this morning live stream. Discover Crypto. I'm going to be going on some of their shows. It's exciting. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about the market here. We're going to give my thoughts on DeSci and where things are starting to head, because the market really has roared back to life after that little pullback that we had. And honestly, you can't even see it on the chart if you zoom out enough. This is a weekly candlesticks for Bitcoin, and I know I got a lot of lines coming on here. Remember, this vertical line up and down is the halving, so just keep a mental mark on it as to how close we are currently getting to it. Right now, we are but 56 days away from the halving, give or take a couple days, because we don't know the exact moment. Research Coin is in fact pumping. What's good, Zach? What's good, MK? We'll talk about DeSci in just a moment. I want to give a broader market update here because that's going to dictate what decentralized science ends up doing, right? Because we're going to follow market trends. And what is setting market trends right now is Bitcoin. So currently speaking, we just had the highest weekly close in quite some time for Bitcoin. So that is definitely a bullish thing that we are excited to see. What's good, Steven? I put my net worth into DeSci because of you. Don't let me down. Well, I don't have any impact on whether or not these coins go up or down, unfortunately. Otherwise, I might pull some strings to make sure they all go up and up only. However, most of my net worth is also in DeSci. Don't tell my girlfriend. Okay. So one thing I do want to point out to you guys before we kind of zoom in a little bit and check out Bitcoin dominance and everything, market trends, is that quite some time ago we established this trend line for Bitcoin. Bitcoin was riding right above this thick orange line here for several months, honestly. We were above it until we broke below on ETF launch. So 77 days, so almost 10 weeks. We were above this trend line for about 10 weeks. We broke below on the weekly time frame the week of the ETF launching for Bitcoin. Not the approval, but the actual launch. We came down for that 20% pullback, and now we've started coming back up. We've retested the bottom part on the weekly, and I think that we abandoned this trend line. I no longer believe this trend line will hold to be anything important because it's appreciating at a clip that's probably too fast for Bitcoin to actually hold on to. If we theoretically were to extend this thing outwards and presume that the cycle, right, this bull run is going to last sometime until the summer of 2025, that would put Bitcoin up over $250,000 per coin. And I think everyone in here kind of agrees that that's not really what's going to end up happening. So I believe that we'll end up abandoning this trend line here now that we've come up and retested the bottom side of it, right? Now that we've come up and on the weekly retested underneath it to show that it was a key area a key area to pay attention to. Now, if we kind of zoom in a little bit on Bitcoin and we come into the daily, you can see a little bit more details here. We're pumping like crazy. We're pumping like crazy. I'm going to delete this for all intensive purposes because I think we abandon it now. If we don't abandon it, then whatever, I made a mistake there. But what's different this time, okay, compared to the last time we were up at these prices, the last time we were at $48,000, $49,000, it was just on wicks on the daily, and then it closed and went straight back down. So these quick little wicks don't really provide any support. Right now, we're actually closing daily candles up here above $48,000. We're getting some momentum in the market. We're getting a lot of support here. This was a more sustainable move. So I'm very excited to see that this is starting to pick back up again. One thing that's not really picking back up again, and this is why our altcoin portfolios are doing well, is that Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance has now put in, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening right here, right? But this would be a series of lower highs on Bitcoin dominance on the daily. This would be a series of lower highs, which would be bullish for altcoins, not bullish for anything Bitcoin related. Finally sold my quant and put it into Engine and Aptos. Ooh, hopefully that is a worthwhile move for you. Good morning, Goku. Good morning, FTW. Still waiting to see it pull back. just things to pay attention to. I think we still have to come up. I think Bitcoin dominance is not yet done. Okay, I don't think that was the peak back here at 55.3%. It could end up being the peak percentage-wise, but I think we are going to have one more move upwards to come and touch this trend line. And I only say that because each time we've come up and tapped the trend line, right? This has been a historically very significant trend line. Each one of these vertical marks is the halving, okay? You can see back here, that's when Ethereum came in and even gave Bitcoin dominance anything, because previously the entire market was Bitcoin. Then we saw the massive altcoin rallies that we in the 2017 bull market, when people realized you could actually make altcoins. And since that moment, Bitcoin dominance has been slowly bleeding and getting less and less significant because there's so many more altcoins that come into play. But one thing to pay attention to is that right before the halving, we saw somewhat of a dip, right? The first time it was worth paying attention to, we saw somewhat of a dip before kind of climbing back in to touch this trend line, right? Next halving, we saw somewhat of a dip leading into it, and then right after it, before a massive pump to touch the trend line. Now this pump really just double topped us in Bitcoin dominance, but we did see that downward momentum before a large scale rally. That means altcoins bleed a little bit in that, right? Altcoins bleed when Bitcoin dominance goes up. Same thing happening here, in my humbled opinion, is that Bitcoin dominance is slowly bleeding until sometime around the halving, where I think we'll probably make one final run up and tag this trend line again before the next leg down on Bitcoin dominance, where I think we'll probably put in a new low for Bitcoin. But that could be different with the ETF, right? I'm hungry, but I can't eat until tomorrow. Oh, goodness. Yeah, tomorrow, for anyone who's not aware, tomorrow is Tuesday, February 13th. This is significant for two reasons. One, it is the final day of me being 26, which is crazy. And second, it is Axon DAO going live with their token. They are getting listed onto Uniswap tomorrow morning. So we'll finally get to see some momentum in the market. We'll finally get to see what happens with the price. It's getting listed not as high as I think most of us wanted to see it. So I have no intention of selling it immediately because I don't think it's going to be at a price that is worth selling it at. We'll see how it comes, but we're going to have a pretty large scale little marketing push coming in the next 48 hours so that people can get aware that this finally is happening. I know it's been a long time in the making. It's been almost like 2 months of them raising funds, and finally we're going to get to see some liquidity in the market. What's good, Dream? What's good? Exciting. All right, we're almost through the regular market updates. Ethereum is just chilling. It's not yet really start having a breakout, and given that Bitcoin is kind of slowing down with its momentum, Ethereum is also slowing down around the previous high that it had set. I think we might chop in this range for a little bit longer. We might still have some time chopping back and forth in this range before we really break out. The RSI is looking kind of extended. Everything just had many green days in a row. We might see a little bit of a pullback, right? Build out some support again and then skyrocket. Who knows exactly how that'll play out. But when Ethereum goes up, altcoins go up. When it kind of holds, they go up significantly. Now that it's pulling back, we might see some slowdown in many of the altcoins. Now, the reason we have to pay attention to Ethereum is that pretty much every single DeSci play is built on top of Ethereum. Everyone got your significant other some AXGT for Valentine's Day. Oh God. If there is any crypto that you're going to gift your significant other here in the next 2 days, I believe it should be Athena DAO. It's the only one that makes sense logically. You know what I mean? It's the only one there. It's the women's led DAO. Why would you not gift them Athena DAO? Just kidding, guys. If you value your relationship, you will not gift crypto. If you value your relationship with a woman, you will not gift crypto. Because I can guarantee if you just hand the seed phrase to a wallet containing some Athena DAO over to your girl on Valentine's Day, you're probably not gonna have a girl next Valentine's Day. You're definitely not getting lucky this Valentine's Day, that's for damn sure. But Athena DAO just found support down here, which was surprising that we even came down here. I thought that we'd find support at this level. We started finding support down here at the 47-cent range. It's still bleeding though. Technically speaking, we have yet to actually break above any trend lines set here. All right, we might even be able to lower this down a little bit more, but I think I'll keep it there because I can't seem to grab onto it. $4 million market cap I think is ludicrous. I think that any accumulation that's happening down on this stage is worthwhile in my opinion. And I just remembered that I still did not give away the final couple giveaways for activity in the Discord. I completely forgot about that last week when I went over to BCB's house, when I went to Lucas's house. I forgot that I was doing those giveaways. No way I'm risking that gifting idea. I already got told I talk about it too much. Each and every one of us talks about it far too much. Guaranteed. But it's what's going to set us apart, guys. It's what's going to deliver us from poverty. Nothing says friend zone like, hey babe, here's some crypto. Here's the funny part is that you might mean it with all sincerity. Like genuinely, you might give her $200 worth of Athena DAO and be like, listen, this could end up being like $5 grand. Like I could gift you a good chunk of money here. And she's going to be like, go sit your ass down. Go sit in the corner and think about what you've done here. Athena DAO could be an appreciating asset. She would much rather some flowers or chocolate, which is a depreciating asset. And so I don't understand why you would want a depreciating asset over an appreciating asset. But we don't get to make those rules, you know? They get to choose whatever they get to choose. Speaking of appreciating assets, Research Coin is up 10% today, guys. It found that support, right? This is the pattern. It's yet to actually break out, okay? So don't get too excited yet. It has yet to genuinely break above the previous high. So the previous high set up here. We would need to see a reversal of that if we're truly going to see that Research Coin found its base down here. Now, I think there's a high probability that it did, but we can't deny the fact that it still needs to break above the previous high in order for it to be any kind of sustained rally. If you view this little spike as the previous high, then it did break above and is looking like it's starting to find a reversal, but it's still in the process of building out its support. I don't think that accumulating even at these elevated levels 10% up is a mistake. A $30 million market cap is going to be laughable when it hits a billy. My wife wouldn't be surprised though. 10-year anniversary, told her that Caspa is going to pay for our trip. It's not even that outlandish. How is Caspa doing? Yeah, it's not even that outlandish. Look at this. Caspa is beautiful. Caspa is literally a beautiful play here. This is what we want Research Coin to do. We want it to break above the trend line and go above the previous highs that it had, okay? It can get a little bit of resistance at this level, that's fine. It's all-time high, that's fine. You know what's intriguing about these lines that I drew? These lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I drew out 5 lines when I first entered the position back here. When I first entered the position back in June of 2023, I think I entered even before that, but back in June of 2023, I drew all of these lines. And now, look at what happened. We are literally trending between 2 of the levels that I had placed into the chart off of the Fibonacci sequence far before we even came close to that. So if that's not worthy of a like, then I don't know what is. So please exit out of the chat, hit that like button, come back into the chat and chat away. Go signify that you did it. All right, let's go put a 1 in the chat if you liked it. Ready? There you go, 1, bam. My entry into Caspa was late, got in at the 3-cent range, late. This guy says his entry was late. It's at 14 cents right now. Your entry was late into the game? Bruh, you're up hundreds of percent. 14 divided by 3. You're literally up 4.5x. I'll take that any day. If that's late, I'll take it. I'll take it. Especially if this sucker actually, if we break above this trend line here, this resistance level at 15 cents, and we go up to the 25 cent, dude, you're moving. Now I think you're a market maker, sir. No, but it's funny because the market moves in all right. You guys ready for this? You guys ready for this? Have you guys heard of random walk theory? Random walk is an experiment in which individuals took a coin, okay? I don't know that I have a coin on my desk here, but researchers took a coin and they flipped it 1,000 times, whatever it was. They flipped it 1,000 times, documented heads or tails, okay? Heads meant it went up 1%, tails when it went down 1%, and they charted that onto a chart that looked like a stock, okay? So they did a candle. They did candles like that, and every single candle was just a 1% move up or down. It ended up looking identical to a short time frame of any asset that you might trade. So you go over to the index, you go over to the Qs, you go over to Bitcoin, doesn't matter. The chart ended up looking identical to a one-day chart, minute chart of an asset. And they were like, okay, this proves that it is random. The price movement of an asset is completely random when it's on a small enough time frame. However, they then went ahead and took some patterns that you might find in random things in nature, such as the Fibonacci sequence and retracements and all that stuff, and realized that it lined up perfectly. And that while it might be random, there are patterns that are present upon randomness in nature. You look at a seashell and how it's got the random Fibonacci swirl, right? Everything that is random is not truly random because our universe doesn't really exist in randomness unless you're talking about entropy, but I believe that there's probably some predictability to entropy as well, but I don't want to get into any of that right now. Basically to say that the Fibonacci levels and retracements and all that shit actually has some merit to it. It's not purely just people tweaking out. Did you ever buy Tau? You know, I have not made any moves in the market, and it's really just me fumbling the bag over and over again, but I'm trying to make it present to you guys to get into these things when I'm speaking about them. Even if I didn't actually pull the trigger on it, I still believe that what I'm saying is to be accurate. And when I was saying, hey, we just broke out, hey, it's at $250, hey, it's time to buy, I firmly believed that, and I hope that some of you guys got into it. I did not end up buying it, and now I don't want to buy it because it's up at $500, $600, and we were just at $250. Cell is a prime example. Cell, literally last summer, I was like, hey, I like Cell. Cell looks very, very intriguing. Cell looks like something that people probably won't regret. I don't think that that's the accurate chart. Johnny even reminded me of it. I completely forgot about Cell, and now look at it. Now look at it. Back somewhere around here, I was like, hey, Cell looks beautiful, and now it's up like 300%. It's a prime example. There's a bunch of them. I talk about so many things, and I just don't execute on most of them, especially because a lot of my funds are tied up in the pre-sales and everything, or airdrop farming. A lot of my funds are tied up with me trying to get free money. So this Saturn... This is something I talked about with you guys. Saturn BTC. Saturn Bitcoin. I've given you guys the referral link twice. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Okay. This is an airdrop farming machine right now. So I'm showing you guys my wallet here to show I just got the first airdrop of 2,000 RUG token, which is worth $31 right now. Nothing that crazy, right? But $31. All you need is 100,000 sats, which is like 80 bucks or something. You put 100,000 sats into this place, and you are eligible for any of the airdrops that they do, okay? I took 100,000 sats, I bought like 20 bucks worth of this coin called Pizza, and then RUG was airdropped to me, 2,000 of them. It is a new token standard, brand new. RUG was the first coin that was ever deployed on this token standard, a new token standard for Bitcoin that currently exists. If we come over to here, you'll see Saturn. Very small, they got 21,000 followers, but their engagement is through the roof. Their engagement is through the roof. There is another airdrop coming up, which I can't seem to find right now. You get more, right? Look at this person got, holy shit, this person bought a ton, got airdropped a ton. You get more the more you are active with it, and the referral link helps you get more as well. So if you want to refer more people, just use mine if you come into it, because I'm putting you onto it, and that's the least that you could do. There's more. I can't find the next airdrop. Rug. I know that there's another one. I think it might have just been in their Discord that they were talking about it. Ring. I think they're doing, no, what is it? I don't know, whatever. Here, let me pull up their actual Discord then. Announcements. I don't know, they have a series of airdrops that they plan on doing. A large series of airdrops that they plan on doing over the near future, right? Lake has been taking a shit, dude. Lake did not, well, here. We'll take a little segue from what we were talking about. Lake, I think, low-key got overhyped up here. I think this was a little bit crazy for everything that's going on in DeSci. I think that in the long term, that's going to be a very small blurb. You won't even be able to see it on the chart, but I do think in the short term, this was a little bit overzealous. Now, this price that it's gotten to here, this wick down here, anything below this blue line that I drew, I believe is a very good buying opportunity. I think under 2 cents, it makes complete sense to me to be stacking Lake. I already have a large scale bag because I was stacking back here. I bought a good chunk here, and then I actually think if I recall, I bought some more back here. But I believe we've entered into that time frame again where it makes sense to be accumulating Lake. I do. I love Lake dropping. It's helping me get more Lake via staking. Facts. The Pokédex used to be 150 in my time. I hear there's 600 or something. Jesus. Ah, man. I remember 150 time frame. Now I just stopped playing. I have it on my DS. Oh my god. I have it on the Switch, but I don't really play it too much anymore. Now, we talked about this airdrop, okay? This airdrop is, I think it's just worth putting like $200 in it and just letting it sit and then claiming the airdrops, right? Because it's sitting in Bitcoin, so you're not really risking anything. You're probably gonna hold $200 of Bitcoin regardless. You might as well just put it in here and just sit on it and collect the airdrops that come. If they're worthless, they're worthless. Speaking of more airdrops, this is something that Learn to Earn, I don't know if you guys know Learn to Earn, but Learn to Earn is an airdrop farming maxi. He farms airdrops like crazy. His nickname that he calls himself on TikTok is DeFi Daddy. So he is deep in the trenches of DeFi. He put me on to Celestia early. He farmed the Jupiter airdrop like crazy. He farmed the Manta airdrop. He's just like, he's going nuts with all of it. He's made, I think in the last like 6 months or so, the last whatever months that airdrops have been going on, he's made like 3 full-time teacher salaries just from airdrops. He's disgusting with it. I don't think that we'll be anywhere close to that unless you have a lot of money to be putting into these. But he informed me that if you stake any of these, all 5 of these, if you are to stake all 5 of these, you don't have to do all of them, but just any of them, you will be eligible for dozens of airdrops. He said probably close to 100 if you do all of them over this next year. So there's some free alpha for you guys. If you guys appreciate that, I would appreciate the thumbs up. I'll remind you again one more time. Tia, you guys have seen Tia. Tia's up a disgusting amount. If you had been holding on to it this entire time, you would also be up a disgusting amount. Celestia was $2 like a couple months ago. Apparently, if you stake it, you'll be eligible for many airdrops. All of them. All right, I just want to help you guys out. If you guys want to receive airdrops and you want to hold them, just go ahead. There you go. One non-public servant salary. He said that in one airdrop alone, he made about 30 G's. So he's making bank off of this stuff. He's making bank. Like this airdrop I just did was $30 times 1,000. Imagine getting that times 1,000. VXV, baby, VXV. What about it? VXV question mark? Vector Space Biosciences. It's part of the DeSci world. Part of the DeSci world. This is one of the older coins for DeSci. They existed last cycle before it was really a narrative. Before it really became a narrative. They're working hard though. They're putting in really good work. I think that they'll be rewarded nicely. How high it goes, I don't really know. It's kind of just sitting. It's looking like a slow bleed. It really is looking like a slow bleed. So far, nothing has changed from its technical standpoint from the previous spike or the spike above that or this spike, right? It's just been in a slow bleed for quite some time. So until we break above one of the previous highs, it's still just in a slow bleed, you know? Yeah. I mean, that's very much a given. He's got a lot of it staked, guaranteed that. I'm just saying, if you're going to hold, I'm just saying here are the 5 coins that are going to reward you for staking them with tons of airdrops. If you want to do it, go for it. If you want to look into them, go for it. Celestia, I know, is a good network. He is super bullish on Dimension. He is super bullish on Dimension. He said it's worth $7 right now. I think his YouTube video said it was going to go to like 300, which is a crazy prediction. Yeah, 350. A crazy prediction, but most predictions are kind of crazy until they come true. Pyth, I don't really know much about. Manta, I'm super bullish on. And then Jupiter, I don't know much about Jupiter, to be completely honest. I just know that it was a huge ass airdrop. Guys, I'm headed to Discover Crypto, Entangle. I'm spending all week next week at Discover Crypto. I'll be on a couple of their shows in their hit network ecosystem, and it should be a good time. It should be a very interesting time up there. I'm excited for it though. It'll be trip number 2 to Discover. Well, both Celestia and Dimension are platforms for other tokens to be created and added value on the base chain. There you go. That explains why he's so bullish on them. Entangle is an easy test net. Did you mean 10x or test net? Daz, what's up? Facts. Daz, what's up? Daz, what's up? This will be a fun time. I'm gonna make it all of my content pretty much from there. Pretty much all of my content from there. So hopefully I can get a couple interviews with some more DeSci people and use their studio so it looks even better. Testnet for airdrop. Entangle. Should I add it to the list? Wow. Bruh. It's not even on CoinMarketCap. That's why these I view as safer plays, right? These I view as safer plays because they're not super small. They're not super tiny. So it's like just more reliable. Fuel with the green logo is the first execution layer project on Celestia. No token yet. Interesting. Yeah, I don't have enough bandwidth to be on all of these, so I'm just trying to present the information to you guys. I don't own a single one of these. I would like to own some of these, but I truthfully don't have the bandwidth right now, both from a monetary standpoint and just a mental capacity standpoint. I can't be keeping up with it, right? Like DYOFR, you understand how much it takes to keep up with these things. I do not have the mental capacity to be keeping up with all of them. I know I could just stake and leave it in there, but then I'm missing out on opportunities that I'm afforded because I have connections in the content creator realm. Not to be bragging, I just like, the reality is there are airdrops coming, yes, and I want to be farming as many as I can, but with each one I have to tie up hundreds if not thousands of dollars into them, and at the same time there are like private pre-sales that I get access to that I can put money into, which I've shared with you the one that I have done in the past, and there are more coming up soon, which I'll share with you as soon as I'm allowed to share it with you guys. But those things are crazy. Those things so far printed a good amount of money. And so it's like, I want to be on these, but my brain just doesn't have the mental capacity to watch all of them. And I don't have, the thing is, like, I could just put $1,000 into each one of these and call it a day and just farm the airdrop. But my brain doesn't work like that. I need to understand everything about them before I can do that. I need to then watch all of the airdrops and understand exactly what's going on with those airdrops before I can do that. And so it's painful for me because I know I'm leaving money on the table with those. I know for a fact they're gonna print like crazy this bull market. And maybe I should just suck it up and not have to be that autistic with understanding everything I do. But then, who's that investor? But then how am I gonna know who that investor is? That's what makes that investor that investor. Yeah, I mean, we've already looked at VitaDown, ResearchCoin. Axon tomorrow. Let's go, Landon. Axon's coming in hot. AXGT. Well, let's go look at, it's not gonna have any trading data. So let's go look at their Fjord. Promise to keep the Sean Penn jokes. You guys just make up names, I swear to God. Who is this guy? Mystic River. That sounds scary. If this is what you think I look like for my hairline, this is the last live stream I'll ever do. If you think that's what my hairline looks like right now, I'm never going live again. I'll never be able to make a piece of content again. Is this him? A younger version? I'll accept the younger version. But does that mean that my fortune entails this? That is not what I'm looking at. 8 a.m. it goes live. Let's fucking go, Landon. No bio updates yet. Bio XYZ. I'm trying to get one of those early invitation codes I can put in my Discord. I'm trying to get one of those early invitation codes to put in the Discord for Bio XYZ. That's what I'm looking at. No, last time you went on the basement. All right, okay. No, you're more than all right. You can say whatever you want, right? You can ridicule me all you want on those. I was just saying that if my hairline looks like that, no one will ever see me again. Grow the mustache for Halloween this year. Do you guys think I can grow a mustache? Do you want to see? I have no facial hair growing capabilities, which is why I have the minoxidil here, right? So I could be rubbing it on my face. But then Andrew from HairDAO was like, yeah, that's going to make you infertile. And I was like, what? I don't want to be infertile. And I got scared and I stopped rubbing it on my face. And when you stop, you can't continue. So Axon DAO is launching at a price of 0.002508 with a circulating market cap of $232,000 in total. I am very excited to see where this thing goes because this is far too small of a market cap. I think that in the next month we go straight to 1 million, which is a 4x from here. I think a far more realistic market cap for them is close to 1 million. They need to push NVIDIA. That would cause a nice pump for launch. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff, a lot of cool things going on. They're literally partnered with NVIDIA. They're in NVIDIA's accelerator program. There's a lot of stuff that's coming for them. And they have actually dedicated some funds towards market awareness, right? Most of the DeSci projects just assume that if they make it, people will come into the space and start using it. Axon DAO realizes that they can try that, but it's not going to work. It never works. It genuinely never works. Like, you can just make things and people will come, but that doesn't ever actually play out. You need to make things and then dedicate a large sum of money towards marketing. Axon DAO is doing that. Axon DAO is the first DeSci project that's actually taking it serious. So they're going a little bit slow with it, but you can't ask for everything. This right here, this little uptick, was them realizing that they need to market it. This they just like didn't. I'm not trying to shit on them, right? And I've been helping the team for a little bit of time here. I've been helping them since the private pre-sale. And I did some of the marketing push and I helped them understand the use case for marketing. And then they thought that they were done. They thought they were done with it. And they did this. And they did not communicate with me about marketing at all. They didn't ask for anything. They just like thought that they were done with me. They thought they were over the marketing phase. And it just literally bled and bled and bled and bled and bled. And right here, they reached back out and they were like, can you help again? And I was like, yeah, I can connect you with the people who can help for sure. And then this was the results. It started ticking back up again. So they've understood the importance of it. They understood. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, because I've literally told the other, because it's just marketing, guys. It's literally just marketing. You have a product, you need to market that product. That's all it is. I've literally told the other DeSci projects, as many that will listen, as many people who are paying attention to what I have to say, hey, watch Axon DAO. Axon DAO is going to be the first one that actually listens to marketing and advocates, has a budget for product displayment towards the broader market. Like, has an actual budget allocated to informing the public what's going on. Like, you can, whatever. So hopefully the others start waking up to the power of marketing. Because you can't fund anything. You can't fund no science if your coin's worthless. That's for damn sure. If research coin hits a billion, no, here. How about this? All right. I'm helping Noble Blocks. Hey, Jerry is already on it. Oh, damn. That was quick as fuck. Noble Blocks on ICP, all right? Noble Blocks is Research Hub on ICP. If Noble Blocks gets to 1 billion, okay, Zach, not if Research Hub hits 1 billion, because I think that's going to happen. If Noble Blocks hits 1 billion, I will shave my head completely bald. I will shave my head completely bald if Noble Blocks hits 1 billion. We will have an absorbent amount of money if Noble Blocks hits 1 billion. Like, let's see. In the first year, there's 130 million Noble Blocks tokens that will be launched. Okay, so I don't know that this is going to be totally accurate, but let's just assume dilution is aggressive for next year, and there are 260 million Noble Blocks out there. Okay, 260 million. If it gets to 1 billion, that means each Noble Blocks coin will be worth $4. And so far, he has airdropped in his Telegram alone. Okay, Delroy, in his Telegram alone, he's been handing out 1,000 Noble Blocks to people who sign up, people who join. Which means if it hits 1 billion, he will have just given out $4,000 to how many of you guys? How many of you guys in the chat right now have received that? Let's start the poll. Have you received your Noble Blocks airdrop? There you go. Have you received your Noble Blocks airdrop? He gave out tens of thousands. He has 10 million Noble Block tokens that he is just giving out to people to like promote it, to help understand what's going on, to get everyone excited. So far, none of you have clicked yes, and it's kind of concerning. The poll is live right now. Exit out of the chat and click on the poll. Yes or no. I'm curious if you guys have received the Noble Blocks airdrop. If it gets to 1 billion, I will streak naked across the next Super Bowl. You know, I hate his obsession with Richard Heart. I could rant for as long as I possibly could fathom about how stupid this comment is. I could literally just rant for as long as I could possibly think. Richard Heart says the most basic ass things about financial markets that possibly you could think about. He's like, things that go up will come down. VCs will sell their tokens on you. Influencers who pump stuff are getting paid. People want to make money. My coin has gone up. It's like, okay, you're literally just stating the simplest of smooth brain things that you could possibly come up with. What do you mean he was right? He said things that were already in existence. He didn't predict shit. He just said stuff. It's such a, I hate that so much. His obsession, him and Aaron, their obsession with Richard Heart is mind-boggling, because he says a bunch of things that are accurate and correct, and then at the very end, perverts the results of it, perverts the interpretation to make it sound okay to scam and create Ponzi schemes. Right at the end, he says things, you state a bunch of facts, you state a bunch of things that are true, and then at the very end, rather than jumping to the logical conclusion, you pervert everything you've said into something that backs up you scamming people and creating a fraud. Whatever. People have made a ton of money. The people who get in early on Ponzi schemes make a ton of money. Ask yourself something very, very simple, okay? This is the most important part of investing. And then I got to go because I have to get ready for the flight to Atlanta. I still haven't packed anything. What differentiates a Ponzi scheme from an investment? Because most things, everything that humans create for the most part, relies on new people entering in order to continue growth, right? Growth only comes from new people entering into something. That goes for the housing market, that goes for literally politics. There's a pyramid scheme. Everything is pyramid scheme. Ask yourself, do you report to someone who is higher up on a pyramid scheme to you in your job? Yes, everything that we do is pyramid schemed in some capacity, even life. You can only continue to grow the human race. You only grow a species if more of that species are born into it. Everything that we do is structured like that. What differentiates a Ponzi scheme from an actual investment is that you're putting money into a Ponzi scheme with the sole purpose of making more money. Okay, there is no other thing that somebody else could buy that token for, right? Versus something like Research Hub, for example, you buy that token so that you can pay for bounties to get people to look at your research. There is a purpose behind that token outside of just speculating on price going up. When you buy Hex, the only reason that you buy Hex is because you want to make money. If that's the only thing that you're doing for something, that means you either don't understand the project enough or it's a Ponzi, because the only reason someone else is ever going to have to buy that token from you is hoping that someone else buys it later for more money. Now, that might be why you got into any of this stuff, but the way that you find a floor on price, the way that you can assure something won't go to zero, is by having some level of some level of value provided, right? Even something like Quant. I know I sold all of my Quant, but Quant serves as a gateway key to an API. Quant serves as a gateway token into the utility. It's a utility token. So worst case scenario, it might be grossly overvalued and it might plummet 99%, but there is a floor to these things. There's no floor to Hex. If people start selling out of Hex, it will spiral to zero, or as close to zero as possible. If people start selling Quant, it will spiral down until it becomes a price that people who want the service are going to say, I need to scoop this up now because it just makes sense. That's the difference. You need to have a reason to buy something outside of just making money. Making money is a side effect of solving a problem. And Hex doesn't have that. Just straight up, you can look at it all you want. There is no fucking reason to buy Hex outside of just making money. And I wish that people would actually listen to what I'm saying rather than just try and ride Richard Heart's dick, because that's all they do. Anyone who's huge in Hex literally just rides his dick because he says obvious things, and then you think he's a god, you think he's a genius, and then he just perverts it at the last second to support him selling all of his tokens on you and making a Ponzi scheme. There's my 2 cents at 9:45 in the morning. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys too much with that. Hopefully I didn't hurt anyone's feelings more than is necessary. None of you guys have received the Noble Blocks airdrop, which is weird to me because he's giving it out in the Telegram. He was giving it out in the Telegram. You guys must not pay attention to the Discord that much because I put it in there early. I put it in there so you guys could get in early as hell. He's giving away 10 million tokens. 10 million tokens. I don't think it's probably going to get to 1 billion, which is why I said I'd go bald if it did. But if it gets to 1 billion, that means that each token's worth $4, and he's giving away $40 million to the people in his Telegram. So cheers to that. Cheers to that. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. Thank you for voting yes on it. He gave me an egregious amount of tokens, and I've said it in the past, but your time is your most valuable asset. Hopefully, this was worth investing into. I gotta go pack for my trip. Keep an eye out because I'll be making content about it the entire time. Peace out.